Alright guys, so now that we're in the garage, that's what's up. So let's get down to the main reason. So yes, I bought my SRT Performance Spoiler from Vicrez. So we are going to take off my stock spoiler. We are going to take off the Wicker-bill as well. Show you guys the assembly and how we're going to do this install. And yeah, let's see how this rolls. Alright guys, so before we even start installing this, we gotta remove everything from here. So, check out the tray. It's a little dusty right now, but still does the show. Alright, so first couple of things we gotta do, we gotta take off this piece off. You know, remove all the clips that come on there, and then we got, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm bolts that we got to remove, so the actual spoiler can be taken off, and then we got to actually pry out this actual spoiler from inside here, because there is that OEM 3M that comes in between this spoiler and the actual trunk itself. We got to pry this off of there and then remove it. And then, yeah, that'll be the following steps that I'll do. Of course, I'll remove the cable from inside here. We'll take that off. That way the camera can easily just build out. And then once we get the spoiler off, I'll show you guys the next steps we do for the camera removal. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so these are the tools that you are gonna need to help you, remove the liner inside the trunk, help you pry off the actual trunk spoiler and remove it from the 3M that's in between there. We may need the razor blades just in case if we have to cut it off, to cut off the actual 3M inside, but I think this might help us pry. We can also use this if you want to. I mean, this thing's pretty strong itself to pry off the spoiler, but you're gonna need your 10mm socket. You can use the ratchet if you want to, or you can use an impact gun. All depending on your flavor. I mean, the impact gun is going to get it done a lot faster, maybe a little too much, but I said, hell with it, why not? But then again, I would use the microfiber towel. That way we're not scratching the inside of the trunk when we start removing there. So, I mean, it would be a lot more helpful using the microfiber towel to help you pry the stuff. But yeah, this is pretty much it for now. Once we get to the cameras, install, then I'll show you guys what bolts and all that stuff we're going to be installing that's provided through the Vicrez kit as well. I know for sure it's going to be either a Phillips head and 4 of the screws that are going to be going into the actual camera piece itself. So we'll be doing that, and I think I might add a little twist to this install that Vicrez didn't do on their install, but just to help the camera and preserve the inside of the actual little housing last a lot longer, which I think you might like. But definitely stay tuned on what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the stuff over here on the removal. Alright, so just gonna take off the last one. That's it. Like that. Alright, so now it's off. We can set this on the floor over here. So that liner's out. So now next thing we're gonna do is disconnect the camera to the wires there, and then we're gonna start removing actual black clips, things off of that. And let's do the other one. So we'll take off those next. All right, guys, so now we're at the point where the bolts are removed. Next step we gotta do is remove the actual cable. So it's literally just a clip. There you go, camera's removed. Now that we have that done, like I said, now we just gotta do is just to work on prying off the actual thing, because it's already wiggly as it is. So it's gonna be in good standards. Check it out. So stay tuned for that as well. Even if you have to add a little heat to remove the 3M, by all means, do it. Makes life this time that much more easier. All right, just a quick tip. So it actually was a little difficult because there is about 4 different types of adhesives that are kind of holding this in. But I mean, I'll show you right here. You got one there, you got another there, and you got another there. That actually holding down the center where the camera is at. So prying that area on top of that little center post inside here was a little bit tough. But like I said, I did add a little bit of heat and it was a lot easier to pry off. So heating it up will definitely do the job. So now that that's removed, we can come, oh, let's go, you know what, let's go here. Let's put everything here. All right, so now that we have it off, flipped it over, next we gotta remove these T15 bolts that are on there. They're star keys. So you gotta remove these. Then you're able to access to get the camera out. Of course, you're gonna run the cable back through here and you're gonna pull everything out this way. And then I'll show you guys a reinstallment of the camera on the SRT spoiler. But just for now, let's clean up all this. So from what I've seen on other videos of people putting on the new SRT OEM spoiler is, of course, you want to clean all the deposits that are actually on this spoiler, because keep in mind, it has a lot of dirt, has grime since factory. So I've already had this car for about 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, and there was a lot of dirt, as you've seen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the clay bar and I'm going to clean it all off. That way the new adhesive has a new surface for it to stick on really well, as opposed to, you know, how much dirt was on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the adhesive all the way around on the new spoiler. I'm gonna put all the adhesive all the way around, and it's gonna have a nice clean surface for it to sit on. That way there's no issues of water whatsoever coming back into these holes. I doubt there will be. It didn't even have it with the factory on that way, but this was the only way that it had the 3M. So I will do that though. I will put the 3M all the way around and then wrap that up. Okay, so now we have this off. Let's pry the camera out. Okay. So now the camera's out. You gotta remove those T15s out of there, and we're gonna use the same ones to put onto the kit that came with the Vicrez. So just direct replacement, and I'll show you the other 2 bolts on the kit. They came with 2 other bolts that have to be bolted in. I think I have some inside here that I can use. I know other people have used, you know, other different type of hardware, but I'll definitely have a different new replacement for those 2 bolts that came with the Vicrez kit. And yeah, so remove these, and that's the next step. Okay, so this came off the stock one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the 3M all the way around, and then wrap that up. Okay, so now the camera's out. You gotta remove those T15s out of there, and we're gonna use the same ones to put onto the kit that came with the Vicrez. So just direct replacement, and I'll show you the other 2 bolts on the kit. I think I have some inside here that I can use. I know other people have used, you know, other different type of hardware, but I'll definitely have a different new replacement for those 2 bolts that came with the Vicrez kit. And yeah, so remove these, and that's the next step. This is Vicrez, a little piece that's going to be added on to there. So you remove these. It's just a flathead, and this is going to be the actual piece that mimics this area. So now you have that. We're going to drill a hole here, at least probably the size of a quarter, or if not smaller, but just for that way this can come back out of there and can connect to the actual cable inside the trunk. But what we're going to do here is we're going to insert the camera there. So now you're going to replace those two little screws that came off, put them back inside here, and put it back inside here. And those other two screws that I was telling you guys about were, this is going to sit inside here, the camera's going to be in there. You got to find two other screws that adjust into here and here. Those are the other two that you got to have fit. That way this actual piece is not moving in there, because those first two screws only hold in the camera into this piece here. Then you got to readjust it, put it in there, and you have your camera. Okay, so now that I have these two on there, now, like I said, you did have to have some spares into these holes. So I found two of them that actually fit in here. These are going to be Phillips heads. So this is going to be what's going to hold the actual housing of the camera in place to the new spot. So that's going to fit through there, and it should be mounted up correctly. And I'll show you guys the next step after this. We'll reinstall back the cable into here, and then we'll put this back in there, and then we'll drill the hole. All right, so I did use a little bit of glue just for it to seal in there, you know. And we'll just reinstall it. Now it's nowhere gonna near to wiggle. There's a little bit coming out, but it's fine. That's what I wanted. If it's gonna be in there, it's gonna be in there correctly. Nice and sealed. Sealed from the water ever being inside there. I can put the bolts back in. Next. Okay. So now that's in there. This through time will dry, which is fine. Clear that off. Clear all this off of there. But, all right, so that's it. The next step we're gonna do is reinstall the 3M on this and then put it back on the car. Okay, so it's shit like this where you gotta just say fuck it, you know, just do it and cut, you know? You just literally have to cut. So what I had to do is literally cut two slots out where the rest of these bolts are gonna go in, which are these. And there's areas inside here that fits in one, there's another area inside here that fits another one. So that way you got another bolt hidden here. Instead of it being all the way in the far corner on each side, you can get at least two more bolts tightening down the center, because you don't want this thing flapping in the middle. I mean, who the hell wants a damn SRT Performance Spoiler flapping in the middle? But yeah, major tip, if you're gonna do it, cut it so you can get clearance on the inside. You can get those actual bolts to tighten out just the center, instead of that 3M really gonna help you to seal down the spoiler. But if you want to get access, you think you got balls to do it, I mean, by all means. Ladies, if you're gonna do this to your challengers, cut this shit. Dudes, if you're gonna do this to your challengers, cut that shit too. Fuck it. Yeah, so more B-rolls.